Hello again YouTube, welcome back to another video, and this is just going to be a little pickups video. Not too much stuff, but some quite big items, so I thought rather than do a room tour and just have the new items dotted around, I'd have a little chat about them on a pickups. So you'll have already seen one there in the background, which I'll get onto in a minute. But yeah, I've got a couple of bits and bobs. I had a nice little meet up with a few tubers as well. So yeah, a little bit to chat about today, and it is roasting outside, so I'm coming for a little break and a nice cool beer. And in the background there, I've got good old Mark, Space Cowboy. Cheers, my friend. If you haven't seen his channel already, I'll put a link. Brilliant new channel, well worth tuning in for and giving him a sub. And I myself am drinking a rather nice Budvar Dark Lager. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, but it's nice stuff and it's quite difficult to find. I usually get these when they're in stock on Ocado, and I'm using the good old Budvar glass. I can't know if it's got the thing on both sides, but yeah, I love that glass. It's my favourite. My favourite of all my beer glasses at the moment. So yes, cheers to everybody. Happy Sunday. So I'll start off with the one which you'll have already seen in the background. So yes, the Micro VTech Cub. Not my previous one, sadly. I haven't got that repaired, but I have kept hold of it. I'm not going to get rid of it, because there is a chance I might be able to get a replacement tube at some point. That same tube was used in a few televisions in the same sort of period, so I'm hoping I might get a donor for that at some point. But in the meantime, this one popped up. I was stuck awake one night, so I put my phone on, and this had just been listed, and it was, I think it was £40. Buy it now with £10 postage. So I thought, I'll give that a bash for that price, and it works perfect, as you can see. So that is the 1431, otherwise known as a 452. That is the same screen we used to have in schools back in the day. So yeah, it's nice to have that one. Lovely condition, and thankfully the seller packaged it really well, so it arrived no damage at all. So very happy with that one, and that will do until I get my other one repaired, all being well. So yeah, that's my first big purchase. And what should I get onto first? I had another meetup. So last time I did a video, I'd just come back from London Gamer Market, and not long after that I was heading up to another meetup with some fellow tubers, and that was all thanks to Alex, Al's Arcade. He had invited a few of us up for a little meetup in his little arcade, and for a few beers and a good old catch up. So yeah, I went up there on a Saturday night. Alex, U-Star Gamer, and Scott Sega Zombie, they'd already stayed over the night before in a little pub. So they were up there, as was Martin, Hobby Lodge. He was there with his two sons. And of course, Alex, Al's Arcade. So yeah, that was a absolutely fantastic meetup. We had a good old chat, played loads of games, his arcade games. Al has got an absolutely incredible place with his arcade room. So yeah, it's awesome to go in there and to catch up with the guys again. They even took us for a good old walk around the area, sort of talked us through all the history of the different places, all these what do you call them, like sort of burial sites, and this is up in Swindon, so that sort of white horse that's on the hill. I forget all the names of these places, but yeah, it was a really cool day. We had a good old catch up, and I also stayed at the pub for the night along with Scott and Alex. So yeah, we had a brilliant evening, nice good old catch up, and I've got a couple of gifts to show from that as well. If I remember, I'll put a couple of photos in at the end. So anyway, I'll start off with the gifts that I got up there. So the first gift was from my good buddy Alex, U-Star Gamer. I haven't met him until this year, and now I've met him twice in the course of sort of 2 or 3 weeks. So I met him at London Gamer Market, and I met him again up there. And he'd seen on my video that I mentioned I was going to get a Game Boy Advance to play on my holiday later this year, because I'll be off to Argentina on my Todd on that flight. So it's a long old flight. That's I think it's 15 hours plus all the journey to sort of to the airport on the other side. And he turned up with this. And he said, "There you go, mate." And I said, "Oh, how much do you want for that?" He said, No, it's yours, the gift." So yes, a Nintendo DS, which I think actually it'll be a lot better than a Game Boy Advance, because my eyesight isn't the greatest these days. So obviously you've got a nice backlit screen, And not only that, but DS games are dirt cheap, so I might pick up a couple of loose DS carts as well. But yes, I'll be playing Rebel Star on that for my journey, so that's really cool. So thank you once again, Alex. I really appreciate that, my friend. Really kind. And yeah, certainly wasn't expecting it, but yeah, really lovely little gift. So there we go. I've got a DS for the first time in years. I don't know how I'm going to stack these. Put that there. And the following morning, I was having a good chat with Alex. And funny enough, because he's got loads of arcade marquees all dotted around. And I've been looking at a few arcade marquees myself. And I said to him, how do you know how do you know if it's a repro or an original? And we were sort of having a conversation about that because I said I was thinking about picking one up. And he said, oh, actually, so I've got loads here to sell. So he got out all these marquees, tons of them. And he was going all through them. I must admit, I hadn't heard of, I don't think, any of the arcade games he was showing. They were just all these obscure games. Really lovely artwork, but I wanted something which had a bit of nostalgia. So he was going through, and I thought, oh, there's nothing for me, sadly. But I think it was the last one in the pile he got out, and it was this one. Good old Rally X, which is a game I used to love. I absolutely loved this in the arcades. Great game. And I said, oh, I wouldn't mind that one. I said, how much do you want for that? He said, no. He said, that's yours, mate. And I said, oh, come on, I can't have it for nothing. What do you want? And yeah, he insisted on it. So gift from Alex. So thankful. So thank you once again, Alex. That is just a fabulous gift. And I will be getting you something at some point. It's knowing what to get you, which you haven't got. But I'm definitely going to get something to as a thanks for that, because that is an awesome gift. And I've got this fitted up just above my window, but I just got it down just to show it in here. So yeah, really cool. Really happy to have that, and it looks lovely. So yes, that's quite a big one. Is that going to stand up there? It might do, with the help of other Alex's DS. Yes, there we go. So the rest are all purchases. Where to start? I'll start with this one. I've been collecting the little Corgi and Matchbox cars, but only ones which I distinctly remember having. It's purely on nostalgia. But this is the only exception, just because it was really cheap, and it's the same as my first car. It's my second car, actually, but my first car was a heap of crap. That was a Mark I Ford Fiesta. So this is the one I got the most memories of, and it was a little Austin Metro 1.3 Sport. So yeah, there we go. So when I saw that cheap, it was just about to finish. The seller was a bit cheeky because there was two of these actually on the listing, and one was in better condition than the other. The other was in really nice condition, not squashed at all like this one. So I thought, you know what? I thought I'll grab that, two of them. I thought I'll keep the one in nice condition. I'll just gift the other one to somebody else. But actually, only one of them turned up, so I was a little bit annoyed. But it was a charity seller, so I didn't want to make too much fuss. Otherwise, I would have just returned it and thought, no, that's too cheeky, because it talked about two cars throughout the listing, and there was a photo of the two. So it was a bit cheeky. When I contacted them, they said, "Oh, we'd already sold the other one." So yeah, thanks for telling me. So yeah, anyway, I don't know whether I'll just keep that in a pack. I probably wouldn't. I'd be tempted to open it, but I do like the fact it's got the little Woolworths sticker there for 27p. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, there we go, little Austin Metro, very similar to my first car, or second car. So this is risky stacking, as always. There we go. The next one, I've done a little gameplay video of this one, so I'll put that in. I haven't played it much, so and I cannot remember. I haven't played poker in years, not probably since Sam Fox's poker. But this is actually a homebrew for the Spectrum, and that is Sam Fox Pinup Poker. There we go. That's from Northern Games. I don't know if you can see the screenshots on the back, but yeah, if I remember, I'll put a little bit of gameplay video, because I did do a bit of video footage for it. And you had a choice of cassette colours. You had red, blue, black, and green, I think. So of course it had to be a red one. For good old Sam Fox, it had to be red, nice and spicy. There we go. So yeah, after all these years, a sequel to Sam Fox Strip Poker. Very cool. Put that one there. That might be my only game, actually. I'm sure I picked up another game. I probably forgotten one. I'm not very organised in my pickups. I just do mine on a moment. I'm not one of these that puts all my stuff to one side. So yeah, I usually forget stuff. There is another game here, which I still don't know if I'm going to get the system or not. Now, I've been resisting that Atari 2600 Plus all this time. I've seen it drop as low as 38 quid, I think, was the cheapest. I keep getting tempted, but I don't need it. I've got enough systems here. Everything all fits perfectly. I've got plenty to play. But then they only went and announced a Pac-Man Yellow. A Pac-Man Yellow version, which is coming out later this year. I don't know if you've all seen that. Again, if I remember, I'll put a little thumbnail picture of it. But I just thought, oh no, I'm going to cave on that. Even though it's more money, it's like 130 quid, that one. It's got a wireless joystick and that as well. And a Pac-Man game. But still, when you've had a chance of getting a 2600 Plus for 38 quid, that is a lot of premium. But Pac-Man Yellow 2600, that is really tempting. But anyway, with all that, I've pre-ordered it just in case, so I can always cancel later. But with all that, I looked on Amazon, and this game was only a tenner. New release, homebrew game, and that is Mr. Run and Jump. So I thought, seeing as it's just a tenner, I'll grab that, shoot first and ask questions later, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to cave on that 2600 Plus. And if I do get it, I've already got a cool little game to play. So yeah, 10 quid for a homebrew game, still sealed. You can't go wrong, can you really? And I think it's quite a good game. People seem to talk quite fondly of it. So I'll try and balance that one there. So that's it for games. So the rest are all random bits and bobs. I've got some toys, I've got a bit of music, I've got a VHS and a picture. So I'll start with the music next. This is a rebuy because I cannot find my original. It'll turn up now. I've rebought it. I definitely didn't get rid of it because this is a CD that I loved it. I played it to death, and that is Drum Club Live in Iceland. If you like your sort of acid techno, fantastic album this was. Used to listen to this all the time, and yeah, still love it. So I don't know why, it just popped into my head, and I thought, God, I haven't listened to that for ages, and I couldn't find a CD of it, so I went on eBay and just bought another one. So yeah, there we go. Drum Club Live in Iceland. Absolutely fantastic CD. Really holds up well. That's balancing there. Next, let's do another Matchbox toy. Now this is one which I've been after for quite a while, but I've never seen it boxed, and I do like having these carded so I can hang them on the wall. It just saves a lot of space, and they look great. I like seeing them on there, and most of my Matchbox toys, I did used to buy them on these cards, or get bought them on the cards, whichever way it was. I didn't have many in the little sort of Matchbox boxes, if you know what I mean. They were usually the carded ones, because they usually came from places like sort of Woolworths or WH Smiths and that type of thing. They'd be hanging on the little carousels. And this car I really remember having in this colour, because you can get it in two colours, but this is the one I had. And suddenly one turned up. I had a saved search, and one went, buy it now, new and sealed, and it went on there at 20 quid, I think. So I watched it. It didn't have best offers, just £20. So I thought I'll watch it, because sometimes you get an offer pop in when you're watching it. And sure enough, it did. It popped in with an offer of 18 quid with free postage. So I thought, right, that is it. I'll grab that. And that's a little, is it Cosmobile? I don't know how well that's focusing in. Hopefully it is. But yeah, really cool little car. Another, of course, as with the other ones, made in England. They were lovely little things. These none of this China-made stuff. That's when we used to make stuff in England. So yeah, very cool. It's probably not going to focus in on that, but just in case. So yes, really chuffed to have that in the collection, and in such nice condition for a special one. Yeah, thrilled. So that can stand up there. Oh, look at that. Another little refresher. I better get a wiggle on, because I need to get my barbecue going. Right, another toy. Now this one, when you're collecting this nostalgia stuff, how early is too early in your collecting? Have you got a cut-off point where when you're collecting you think, that's a bit too kiddie, I'm going back too far there? The reason I ask is this is probably certainly up there with the earliest toys I can remember owning. And it was a little fire engine. It was a Matchbox again, but I was looking for it because I thought I remember being able to like move the little characters up and down the little sort of ladder thing at the back, and I was searching for it. And I happened upon one, and I thought, that's it. So I thought, I wonder if I can find a boxed one. And sure enough, a little bit searching, and not only is this one boxed, but it's all complete and I think unused. It's brand new. The little characters are still in their little bag and everything else. The only negative with it is it's had a sticker pulled off the front, so it's ripped the box a little bit. But yes, it is a Live and Learn fire engine. Now, is this too kiddish to display? I'm not too sure. I can't quite decide. I'm going to try and find somewhere to display it, but if not, I'll just keep it in its box. So yes, there we go. There's some other... I love that on the back there. I'm pretty sure my sister had that boot. I hope it's focusing in okay. I'm pretty sure she had that boot. I'll ask her later. And there's definitely a couple of others I had in here. I think we had that clock between us. But anyway, I'll show you the fire engine inside. So yeah, it's all complete. Like I said, little characters are still in their little baggie there. So yes, there it is. The little bell, as you roll it along, the little bell used to chime. And I remember this one really clearly. Yeah, probably, like I said, it's probably the earliest toy I can remember owning, that one. Along with things like Weevils and that type of thing. But yeah, it's... there we go. What year was this made? 1975 and made in England again, look. So yeah, really cool. You could move that little bridge up. You could move your little characters on there. I think I'll keep them in a little bag just because it's just so nice to have it all pristine. And inside here we've got the little pulley string, still with this little piece of tape around it. So yeah, I don't think this has ever been used. I think it's all brand new. And you've even got your little booklet in there. Yeah, it's quite cool to see. I think I had a little aeroplane. I might have even had that. I think I had the digger and maybe even a little helicopter. So again, I hope this focuses, but yeah, there we go. There's some of the other bits and bobs. We might have even had that little bridge. We definitely had those little characters there. And I also think I had that little boat. Yeah, I think I had a few of these, but the fire engine was a definite. So yeah, very cool. Don't know how I'm going to display it because it's a lot bigger, so it's a bit tricky to display, but like I said, I couldn't resist it. So even if it lives in its box, it's still cool to have. So yeah, there we go. Little Live and Learn fire engine. Teaches counting, eye and hand coordination, free play. A pull-along toy with a ringing bell. Yeah. So would you collect back that far, or is that too far for you to collect? Do you have a sort of cut-off on the stuff you collect? The next thing, this is one I'm thrilled to get because I've been after this for ages. Actually, it's not something that turns up very often. And the last time it came up, which was probably about 8 months ago, I was the second highest bidder and I was gutted I missed out. And that is the VHS big box version. Don't think it was a small box of Monsters from an Unknown Planet, which was, of course, basically the Terror of Mechagodzilla. This was the last one of the Showa era. But yeah, when that turned up, there weren't very many watchers, so I was hoping to get it quite cheap. And it's one of those where I was the highest bidder and the only bidder until literally the auction had completed, and I thought, wow, I've got that for 12 quid. But when I did a refresh, I actually got it for 25 quid. I bid 30 just to be safe. But yeah, I got it for 25 quid. But it really annoys me when these bids come in literally sort of as the auction's finished. It's obviously sniping things. But nonetheless, 25 quid, I'm happy to have it. Matches my poster, obviously. And we've got a nice mildew-free video cassette. So yeah, there we go. So that's my only... No, it's not my only VHS, actually. I've got one more. Better go and grab that in a second. Don't know where I put it. Oh yeah, it's up there. I'll get that in a minute. So, bear with me. I'll go and grab the other one. The other one is the complete opposite end of the spectrum cost-wise, because I got this from a charity shop, my little local charity shop, who a lot of the VHS that I used to pick up from there for 50p each, they now charge between 5 and 10 quid. But I went in a few days ago, and they had this one £2 among all the other expensive ones. So I'm surprised they priced this one so cheaply, in a nice CIC video box, and that is Italian job. So yeah, for 2 quid, I was not going to miss out on that. And I did check before I bought it that we didn't have a mildew cassette, and look at that, no mildew inside, nice and clean. So yeah, the classic Italian job, I was not going to miss out on that. So yeah, I think that's quite a bargain. I don't know how much it sells for on the likes of eBay, but for 2 quid, I was really happy. So I've got a couple of bits left. Actually got more stuff than I realised. Now this one is basically a little gift. My dad was sorting through his crockery cupboard in his house, and he said, I've got a little Tetley mug here if you want it. And I said, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. So he brought this up, he came up to visit, and he said, oh, there you go. So how cool is that one? That's better. That's Tetley. 1996, look, that was their best slogan for Tetley. A good old gaffer there on the front. It's a bit small, I do like a bigger mug than this. Again, another, see, this is a Made in England special, look. Made in England mug. So yeah, I'm thrilled to bits to have that. So I think rather than using it, I'll probably put it in my little display cabinet. Yeah, it's a bit small for me for drinking out of, but yeah, really chuffed to have that. So I don't think Dad ever watches these, but if you do, thank you, Dad. Chuffed to have it. I'm sure he doesn't watch these. He doesn't watch things like YouTube. So yeah, quite, as you can see, quite a varied bit of stuff this time. And the next two, this was one from my wife actually. She likes all of her designer handbags and all that type of thing. She's always on about things like Louis Vuitton and all that sort of stuff. No interest to me, obviously, all those brands. But she said, "Oh, can I get you something from Louis Vuitton for your new room?" I said, "No, not interested in that malarkey." And she said, "Oh, the reason I asked you is I've seen something you might like." And I said, "I doubt it." I said, "It's not going to be anything wild." She said, "Oh, it's Godzilla." And I thought Godzilla, Louis Vuitton. It's not actually a Louis Vuitton item. It's some artist, but it's kind of linked, which you'll see in a minute. And I said, "Don't get it." I said, "Because if it's Godzilla, it's bound to be the American version, which I'm not keen on." And she said, "Well, I'll show you later when you get home." So anyway, she showed me the pic of it, and I said, "Actually, that's cool." I said, "Yeah, I would like it." And I think it was something like £30 delivered. It didn't come with a frame. I've put it in a frame since, and it's a signed print by Death NYC. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that artist, but yeah, there it is. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Hopefully that's not. Is that too far? Too close? But yes, I did have it fit on the wall. I had to take it down because I've moved things around a little bit, so I have to refit that. But yeah, it might be reflecting, so I'll move it around. Hopefully at some point there'll be a good focus there. But no, that's awesome, and it looks like the '84 Godzilla. Definitely Japanese Godzilla rather than the Americanized one. So yeah, really, really thrilled with that. That is a fantastic piece of art. So who would have thought it? And yeah, the Louis Vuitton thing, it's not actually LV, but it's got a little thing on the grenade there. So that's where she had found it from. But yeah, I didn't expect Becky to find me something from Godzilla herself. I don't think that is going to stand anywhere, is it? I'm probably pushing my luck, so I'll put that down there. And last but not least, I'd already talked about my little Austin Metro. Well, I got a brochure from a 1980s brochure of Austin Metro. I put it in a frame, so I'm not going to show you through the brochure, but anyway, I shoved it in there. That was only, I think I paid £4 delivered for that. Really cool little brochure. I might put it in a smaller frame, I haven't decided yet. But yeah, it's got all the sort of pictures and that inside, but that's basically the same as the car I had there, the blue one. Except it had the stripes down the side because it was a sport version. But yeah, I loved that car. I went everywhere in it. That's what I used to call my rave-mobile, because we used to drive to raves and that in it as well. Yeah, cool little car, very reliable as well. I had that for probably about 3 years, I think. Never spent any money on it. If I needed anything done to it, I'd just go to a scrap yard and just use bits and bobs from there, because I didn't have much money at the time. But yeah, very nostalgic car, so that's a nice piece of artwork. And I think that is about it. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? There probably was. Actually, I have got another one. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can see there, hopefully. This video pack. This is the video pack 741, which is like the upgraded one, so you do get extra sort of graphics and details on that. I will do a separate video on this one. So yeah, it's there. Was it worth the upgrade over the video pack 7000? Probably not. It's got SCART cable and everything else, and you've got the enhanced backgrounds and things. But to be honest, the picture on the video pack 7000, for the cost that you pay for that, I mean, I got mine for 20 quid when I bought it. They're a really solid little console, they really are. But it's quite cool to have this. There are a few games which don't work, that were done specifically for this, and it's a very rare one. It's Schneider, this one, so it's even rarer than the video pack 7400, I think it was. So it's the same as the 7400, but it's a 741. So you've got this slightly different keyboard. It's more of a sort of champagne gold finish. But yeah, very cool. Like I said, I will do a video because I also picked up this multi-cart at the same time. So I'll probably do a video pack, just sort of having a little, do a video talking about a few of the games on there. And yeah, sort of show what it's all about, show a few of the enhancements that you get, both the good and the bad. And I think that is about it. I've also got a new television which I picked up from Scott actually at that meetup. A little Panasonic, a little 10-inch, which is quite cool, little CRT. But that's a bit difficult for me to get on camera. Obviously, I'm not going to pick that up, but you'll see that when I do my when I get around to doing my room tour. And I've also got a little aquarium which I'm setting up. So yes, there's quite a lot going on. But yeah, I think that's probably about it. Yeah, I think that's about all I wanted to touch on this video. So I've probably rambled on long enough. I hope I didn't bore everybody to tears. And thank you very much for watching if you are still around. So yes, I think that is all. Cheers all.